Hello. Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I am your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Elton Henry, and today I'm going to talk to you about another film that I believe is severely underrated. Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage, Jared Leto, and Ethan Hawke, about a man named I think his name is Yuri Orlov, a arms dealer, a Russian-American arms dealer, who's traveled around the world to get rich by selling weapons to warlords and drug dealers across the world. And there was an FBI tracking him down and trying to gain evidence to expose his way of life, his style. And the more, it's one of those films where the more you see this character, Nicolas Cage, um, do these deals and tries to have certain aspects in his life, good qualities in his life that turn to go sour, you see that. This is one of Nick Cage's one of his best and one of his most underrated performances. I mean, there's nothing he doesn't really do anything dramatic here. I mean, or exaggerating, that's the word I'm looking for. But it's more somewhat one of his more subdued roles. Um, he plays the arms dealer, Yuri Orlov, and Jared Leto plays his brother. I forgot his brother's name. Where they struck a partnership of basically retaining weapons and then selling them and making money off of it. And I believe Nick's Cage character, or Yuri, becomes one of the most profitable um, arms dealer I think on the planet. And the movie is more of a drama with some moments of action, but the action is kind of like it takes a back seat. So this is an autobiographical film that doesn't focus too much on the action, but it's a very narrative driven movie where Yuri is explaining things, how he operates in his operation, how he operates with his methods of selling weapons, or his way of life as an arms dealer, and he narrates throughout the whole film. So that's and honestly, the way that this film was constructed, I don't think the film would have worked um, as much. I mean, or maybe it could have been edited around, but um, what I really, what really drew me in about this film was the world of arms dealing and how very dangerous business, how that world is kind of built up, how much people get rich off of it, how not in a good way. Seeing that kind of lifestyle, seeing the risks, seeing the potential harm it does to people, and this is really a character you don't necessarily root for, but you're curious to see where he goes. You're kind of curious as to what he does, what transpires when he commits these deals, and where certain clients try to get the best of him or try to outsmart him. You see his character always one step ahead, and you kind of like Nick Cage's charisma, his the character as the character. You start to kind of like him, but you also start to hate him for the wrongdoings that he's doing by selling weapons to poor nations that, well, yeah, you don't really, you start to resent him, but then you you start to resent him, but the more the movie goes along, you're kind of you're invested. You're invested in. Ethan Hawke plays the FBI agent trying to bust his ass, and he's cool. He's a cool guy. I don't think they really do anything much with his character except, he complains of trying to, find evidence to get, um, trying to expose your Orlov. But since this is mostly through Nicolas Cage's point of view, his character takes a back seat a lot, so you don't really see him all that well, even though certain trailers advertise him like he's going to be a big part of the movie, which he kind of is. I mean, he's hunting Nick Cage down and trying to expose him for armor stealing. But again, this is more of Nicolas Cage's movie through his perspective. He narrates and explains a lot of methods he tries to do to live the life that he lives. But Ethan Hawke kind of gets pushed to the side quite a bit. He's there kind of in the in the beginning a bit, a little bit towards the end, but kind of midway you kind of start to forget about him a little bit. Again, because you're focusing more on Nick Cage's perspective. Jared Leto, who's freaking good in this film, one of his better performances here. I don't know. There's something about Gerard Leto where I think there's just certain roles that he works, and this one he shines very well in. Who's also in here? Not Bridget Monahan, but there's an actress. Yeah, it is Bridget Monahan. Bridget Monahan's also. She plays a model, soon to be Yuri's um, wife in the film. Um, Phenomenal actress, and I wish they did more with her character. Um, but for what she's given, this is really good. And I think so far out of the filmography that Andrew Niccol has directed, I think this film right here is probably his most his probably his best film. I've seen other films that he's done. I think with In Time, which has a good premise, but I think it failed a little bit with execution. Um, and I think there's a few other films he's made, but I think this here is probably his best film. I feel like he's more experimental with his choices with filmmaking, and I think he also wrote the script for this. Um, Talented writer, and I think this is probably one of the most underrated movies in the 2000s. I think this movie came out 2005. Lord of War. Have you seen it? Comment below. Let me know if you have, what you thought about it, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.